Happy New Year and greetings. My name is John Neiman. I'm Director of Program Services for Oshkosh COTS. And welcome to the Place to Be Oshkosh. This is our January 2024 show. I have to say 2024 because I am one of the only people in the world left who writes checks. And I'm going to put 2023 for quite a while till I remember it's 2024. And you are watching our January edition. So glad that you could be with us for the Place to Be Oshkosh. As always, I'd like to start by thanking our sponsors who make this show possible. And of course, COTS, which is located out of Appleton, but has a multi-franchise there with Riverview Gardens, with COTS men's and women's program, and of course, COTS in Oshkosh. Our men's program opened April 4th, 2022. And so, as we said, we're doing very, very well thanks to our community. Also, our floral design by Brian at UBloom. If you've not been to Brian's shop at UBloom, you have to stop there. It's a small, wonderful shop right on Witzel. He has so many wonderful ideas. He has jewelry, he has clothes, he has food, he has chocolate. So one-stop shopping. So thank you, Brian, for all that you do also. Where can you see us? Well, we're on Oshkosh Media, Life TV. That's Spectrum. If you have Spectrum, it's Channel 2. We're also on YouTube. You just put Oshkosh Media in on YouTube and you will see all our shows. And please go on. My kids always laugh at me and say, how many people liked your show on YouTube? So go on, like the show, but most importantly, learn about all the different not-for-profits that make up our wonderful community. Also, you can download the app for Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. And also go to Oshkosh Media. The schedule is there. Our show airs 5 of the 7 days of the week for the entire month. So that's great PR that we're giving our wonderful not-for-profits in our community. I just wanted to mention a couple things. First of all, I mentioned last month about the upcoming Help for the Homeless Hygiene Drive. And that does go, it starts in February and goes through March. So watch for those boxes in area businesses, area churches. Anything that you donate stays in our community. And I happen to be the chair for Winnebago County for this. And the agencies that your items will go to are COTS, Father Cars, Bella Medical, Advocap, and Salvation Army. So they will always be put to very, very good use. Also, just to mention about COTS, it's the winter months now, and we do have a couple needs. All of our men, we have 20 residents at this point. So we started with 10, we're up to 20. All of our residents work. Not all of our residents have vehicles. Some walk, some bike, some take the bus. Biking's not really to be advisable during the winter months with the ice and everything. So we're always looking for donations of bus passes. If you'd like to donate a bus pass, just stop by our building, 1158 North Kohler. I'll be glad to greet you and take your donation of a bus pass. Also, we have meal ministers, but that doesn't mean you have to donate the entire meal. We have people that will donate just desserts or will donate sloppy joes or hot dogs. Anything that will help us. All of our men like to pack their lunch and take it to work, which saves them money. So give me a call. My email's on the screen. Give me a call if you want to know how you can support our program called Oshkosh COTS. And once again, the holidays were a wonderful time. People were very generous. But what I love about the community of Oshkosh is they're generous all year round. Just like at Thanksgiving, I always call it Thanks-living. You should be living thankful every day of your life. And for Christmas too, when I had a church, I always would leave one ornament hanging in the church to remind people that Christmas is 365 days a year. And that's how we volunteer, and that's how we give back. Stay tuned. We're going to be back for our second segment of The Place to Be, Oshkosh. Hi, welcome back to our second segment of our January edition of The Place to Be Oshkosh. One of my guests is a very old friend of mine, but I don't mean old by age because she never ages. Kim, yeah, I was going to say Kim Jones because that's how I knew her growing up. And her mother, Carol Jones, was a wonderful, wonderful volunteer that I had at Aurora that I was blessed to know and be friends with. Wonderful family. Kim Verstegen, and she's going to introduce who she brought along and also tell us, because behind her name it says Bolt, and she's going to tell us what that means.
Well, hi, John. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be back and supporting our nonprofits in our communities and for our work that we all do. So BOLTIC means Board on Aging and Long-Term Care. And we are advocates and ombudsmen in our long-term care facilities throughout the state of Wisconsin. And I brought along my volunteer, Erin. And right now, today, I'm going to be promoting a new program that we're developing with the Board on Aging Long-Term Care, and we're recruiting volunteers to go into assisted living communities and advocate for the resident rights. And Erin here, who has been in our volunteer ombudsman program for 8 years now, is it, Erin?
It'll be 9 in April.
Okay, coming up on 9 years, has said that she would come and also be an advocate for an assisted living program as we kick this new opportunity off. So really thankful that we get to be advocates and we get to support our residents in long-term care and continue to develop the program. And so, as you support people in COTS, we support people in long-term care facilities and advocate for them.
So Erin, you were with us before. Were you on my old program or you were on the new one?
I think it was the
Was
new
it the
program,
new one?
Yes,
right?
right,
Okay.
this one. Mm-hmm.
Good, good. Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
Now, the first thing that you can tell us, because it's a hard word to, don't even ask me to spell it, ombudsman. What is it?
It's a Scandinavian term.
Okay.
And it means advocate.
So it means
Basically.
advocate. Okay.
Yeah, so we have the volunteer ombudsman program, and because we don't want to have the confusion between our long-term skilled facilities, ombudsman, we're using advocate for
Perfect.
our assisted livings.
Okay.
So we don't have, we're not intermitting and confusing people. So it's two different programs. I mean, supporting our assisted living communities is a little bit different than our long-term care facilities as far as the number of assisted livings that are now popping up in our
All
communities
over, yes.
everywhere. Right. So we definitely need more advocacy there to support our residents and our families so that they know where their rights are. And we're all about rights.
Now, you guys have brought high tech to the place to be Oshkosh, correct?
Yes.
So we're going to see.
We'd like to show you the website.
Go for it. Scott's been doing this, and you're going to tell him.
Okay, so go ahead, Scott. Let's turn on our website. Click, click.
For questions regarding long-term care for those 60 and older, we will direct you to a long-term care ombudsman. Ombudsman is a Scandinavian word meaning helper, advocate, or voice of the people. You can call us toll-free Monday through Friday for support, information, and assistance. You can also send us an email. We will get back to you as soon as we can. Ombudsmen are advocates and are not regulators. We can help point you in the right direction. Ombudsmen can help you access a range of resources and support services in your area. You can speak directly and confidentially with one of the ombudsmen. We also have volunteer ombudsmen assigned to nursing homes in parts of the state. All are trained to seek resolutions to problems and advocate for the rights of residents. Confidential ombudsman advocacy services are provided for persons age 60 and older at no cost. We can answer questions from families and loved ones, but our focus always remains on advocating for the resident. Ombudsmen can answer your questions, such as,
who do I call with questions about my own long-term care?
what are the long-term care options in my area?
What resources are there to help a family member with dementia?
Wherever you are in the state, you can call the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program for answers.
Do you know my viewership just went up by 100% because they said I don't have to listen to John's voice anymore, and we have a really interactive, very well done.
Isn't that a nice?
It explains things simply of what you do.
And the agencies that we cover, we have a Medigap helpline, which everything can be reached through that 800 line. We'll post some more as we go on. Our ombudsman program, our volunteer program, and basically we're consumer rights advocates for all consumers. Our Medigap helpline also helps people answer questions about their insurance questions that they may have. So.
And this is new. This is a new role for you.
For me now, my role is now taken on since August, is where I'm starting to recruit the volunteers for our assisted living communities.
Okay.
So that is a new role for me. We were able to get a 2-year grant, and we're promoting that, and that's where my recruitment is taking place. So, Scott, could we get the next slide, please? I'm going to show you a few little slides with it, and with our conversation that we're taking place, and then Aaron, we can question back some of the things that you do as a volunteer ombudsman.
So that has your roles then.
Yes, that's what we do, and that is our role. So again, we're with the Assisted Living Advocate Program. Okay. So what does the Assisted Living Advocate do? So our volunteers, we're resident right advocates, and we support the rights of the residents in long-term care communities, as we've just spoken. We are guided through our Older Americans Act, so this is a regulation that is required within our communities. So, it is by law that we have to advocate for this and support people in the facilities. The rights strongly emphasize on dignity and self-determination, promoting independence and enhancing the quality of life. And that is what we do, one resident at a time, and we help any resident that needs that support, or a family member that has any questions. Individuals have the right to exercise all their rights free of any interference, coercion, discrimination, or reprisal. So this is a practice that is not allowed. It is against the law, and resident rights are definitely first and foremost. And Erin, can you give us an example of some of the things that you've been able to do in helping our residents?
Sure, absolutely. So as we talked about, I've been a volunteer ombudsman for almost 9 years, and some of the things that I have helped out with would be from something which would seem as simple as residents not getting their laundry back. It's a mystery. Where are my socks? Where are my shirts? So, inquiring about that, to something more serious, not getting showered. There was one incident where there was a resident that hadn't had a shower in 9 months. And the reason was that they felt that there wasn't a shower chair. They couldn't locate the shower chair. So, and this resident just felt she did not have a lot of visitors. And so it took a little while, right, to build that trust.
Right.
But she would see me, and she would see that every week I'm coming, right? And eventually one of the nursing aides had said, you know what, this resident, she would like to have you come in. And that's where she started telling me things that weren't being done and that she would like some help addressing. So to be able to do something like that, even or the laundry situation, can make such a big difference to residents living in long-term care, where they feel they're alone, and to know that there's someone else out there that wants nothing more than for their experience to be the best that it possibly can be.
So how does that, I find this really interesting because to me it's like the hospice program. Nobody knows anything about hospice till you need it.
Exactly.
And then you learn about it. Nobody knows about this. I was a little concerned about the age 60 because I'm past 60.
We can serve you.
Yeah, I guess so. But my mother-in-law is in assisted living. She's 96. God bless her. 96, great mind, everything. But the laundry was one thing. And it may sound simple, but for them, that's their clothes. They're used to having it washed, having it there. And if it's missing, and then there's no reprisal because it's not like they're complaining.
Right.
But you're helping them deal with it instead of a family member who maybe can't be there to help
Right.
deal with the issues. Or maybe they don't have family members.
Right.
Many people don't have family members. I mean, Erin, you just gave me a story that you were able to help a resident that didn't have a family member, and she just wanted, you can tell that.
Right. So just a couple weeks ago, when I did my visit at the long-term care facility, a resident had asked if I would accompany her to talk to the administrator about her billing. She was worried that they weren't taking out enough money to pay the facility. And she said, I feel like I'm just not being heard. And I just would like to have someone else sit in on the visit. So I just sat and I listened, and she was so appreciative. And it was very heartwarming, right, to feel that that act made such a difference in someone's life.
Now that we're involved with it, it means a lot, much more to me, but I'm putting a call out there for retired teachers, retired nurses.
Retired social workers.
Yes, this is something that you could do and make a difference because, like you said, all she wanted to do was to be heard.
Right.
And that's why we always say when you go to a doctor's appointment, bring someone else along, because if you're given news of cancer, you shut down immediately. The other person in the room needs to hear what is being said. Here, this woman just wanted to be heard.
Right. And what's so interesting is I've volunteered in assisted living centers for even longer than I've been a volunteer ombudsman.
Under our program.
Right.
She was a volunteer in the assisted livings before this. So.
Right. And so I witnessed firsthand how the regulation is very different. In skilled nursing homes, periodically there are a number of people that are coming through, checks and balances and that. And in the assisted living center, it just didn't seem like there were as many people
Right.
in
Oversight.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. And at the nursing home that I'm at currently, they are getting residents that are moving from assisted living centers transitioning to the skilled nursing homes. And I am very grateful to have that assisted living kind of experience to help with the transition with the administrators. Like in the assisted living center, so-and-so was used to being shaved every day. And now in a skilled nursing home, shower day is Sunday. Well, what is it? Does it have to only be Sunday when this gentleman is used to being shaved every day? Could he be shaved daily like he was used to? That would make such a difference. But he doesn't want to cause, upheaval. He needs a voice. So that would be another example of something that seems relatively easy. And the administrators are grateful to know of those things because oftentimes the residents they know that they're short-staffed.
Right.
And to be hitting their call light button for something, maybe they're not as inclined to do so. So happy to help bridge the gap.
And you're talking about human dignity.
Right.
Right. It's
and
all
respect.
about dignity and
And
respect.
it's belittle things. Oh my gosh.
And the beautiful thing about being a volunteer with the Ombudsman program and in our assisted livings is this is a 7-day-a-week, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And so you can say, I'm going to do my 2 hours on Tuesday because that's what fits in my schedule, or Friday because that's or any day of the week that fits your schedule. Also, I have a volunteer that goes to Florida every winter, and she comes back in April, and she will pick up where she left off at her facility and become an advocate. And I have never received any resistance from an administrator. They always are very welcoming to our volunteers.
Very much
Yeah,
so.
you've got a great rapport and great relationship. So we really, and what it does is it helps for our regional ombudsmen that really have to put out a lot of the fires. We don't have any deeper, we don't deal with that level. They do. So our volunteers can be there for that laundry, for that food complaint, for the simpler things that or maybe when you're making that weekly visit and you see an air conditioner leaking, and it's a hazard that might be there. And it's just to make sure that even when they do go through survey, you don't want that air conditioner to be leaking.
Right.
So we are able to say, that is a hazard, and it is a resident right that we wouldn't want anyone to fall or have anything.
Right.
And it's just that reminder. And we're, like we say, we are not mandatory reporters. We are just there to be a support. And our volunteers like Aaron, and I have 14 volunteers that all do wonderful work throughout my counties.
What I love about this too is sometimes the resident or the family member will feel like if they're complaining, they're going to get the resident in trouble. Like if you're complaining that you're not getting me up in the morning, they're just not going to get you up in the morning. And
Well, again, that's that reprisal.
right,
That's
and
against the rules.
You're a different approach to this.
Right.
You're coming from a whole different approach about it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I really admire that. I admire to do this because to me it's almost like a hospice volunteer. Certain people can do certain jobs. You have to have empathy, but you have to be able to stand up too. So
Right.
thank you for doing this.
You're very welcome. Very
And then
welcome.
another
I really
good thing about it is our
enjoy it.
ongoing training. Don't we always have an ongoing training? We have a subject matter expert every month. We have a through our Zoom post-COVID now. We all learned a lot through the COVID about how everybody can go through the Zoom link, and we have speakers. And I think what this month is going to be, dementia care specialist is going to be speaking, and all of our volunteers in all 32 of our counties will be there, our ombudsman. But as I say, we are going to be expanding now into our assisted livings, and that's what we're here for. But we do have ongoing trainings. They are always recorded. So even if you can't attend it on that day, we can send the recording to you, and you can follow through with that. So we have coffee clutches. We're always working with boundaries, and when I have my new training, I'll have Aaron come and be a guest for that, so we can explain to other volunteers,
Because
potential volunteers.
It's nice to hear it from the leader, but it's nice to hear from the worker in the field,
Right.
Who does it?
Who's there every day.
So how many counties are you in?
So we are the ombudsman program. If you want to. Is in all 72
Thank you,
counties.
Scott.
Thank you, Scott. Again, we're under the Older Americans Act. You can play it forward, and so we're in 32 counties, and I cover door count currently, or with the volunteer ombudsman program. But my current position will cover Outagamie, Winnebago, Dodge, and Fond du Lac.
Wow.
So
okay.
otherwise, we're in 32 counties throughout the state.
That's a big job.
Yeah, so I don't do all of them, but so again, we're just reiterating our resident rights, and that's our main focus. We do our weekly visits. Like I said, it's unannounced visits. We support the consumers, and we're looking for volunteers in our assisted living to protect the rights and prevent abuse and neglect. So, and that's what Erin does so graciously. I have seen relationships develop with your residents that weren't that welcoming at one point, and then Erin, every week she comes back and makes that visit, and pretty soon she's being welcomed into the room. And when I get out of my car and I make a joint visit with my volunteers, I say to myself, whose life are we going to make a difference in today? And every day, every visit. And I don't care if we're up in the Door County or which county we're in, we always are making a difference. So it's very rewarding.
This is in your blood, and I have to say it's in my blood too, because we both started as teenagers at Bethlehem,
Right.
working in the kitchen. But we didn't just work in the kitchen. You got to know the residents. You joked around with the residents.
Right.
We did special parties for the residents, like luau's and dressed up, and I think that's where the caring.
Yes.
Besides having your mother, who you had, because she was one of the most caring people, I know. But that's I go
Yes.
back to the roots, and that's where it all started. Because I remember some of those residents, like they were on a low salt diet or a bland diet, or they just wanted one cookie, and oh no, your diet can't.
And the wonderful thing now with the resident rights is that resident does have that right. I mean, it depends if it's how it reads in the care plans. So,
But you can do so much, not be so black and white.
right,
Yeah.
right. But another thing about our advocacy program is we are hands off. We can't push those wheelchairs. We cannot bring our pets. We are there for advocacy only, to support, and we are not activities. We are not. If you want to do activities, you can become the volunteer for the facility.
For the facility.
But we are advocates. That's what we do.
Because you're keeping your focus where it should be.
Right. Yes, we're not.
Okay.
And it's hi. How are you today? And like
See
the
how
slide
you just,
says,
see how you just talk and it's there?
that we always have to ask permission.
Yep.
Right, Erin? We always have to ask our permission, and it's nothing about me without me, and that's how the residents. Nothing about, if the resident doesn't give permission, we can't say a thing. But you can talk about that weekly visit then. That's
Yep.
where we kind of
Okay.
follow through. You know, and did you get your problem resolved?
That's right.
Have things worked out for you?
Okay.
And so that's how, you know, we do our advocacy. I mean, if it's a severe issue that's taking place and our volunteer identifies that, that's what that 800 line is all about. And then they can also call me, and then we have an ombudsman that will do the investigation.
Okay.
We are the ears and eyes for the.
Okay.
But basically, it's about supporting. And here, as we say, in the new position with assisted living communities, it's Outagamie, Winnebago, Fond du Lac, and Dodge counties. So if we can get more volunteers like the nurses, retired nurses, social workers, teachers, anyone that wants to support once a week for 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, that's the commitment that we ask. We have a great training, you know, all day.
And so your information's on the board now. So for anybody, this is who you should contact if you're interested in volunteering. Because we were talking about assisted livings are popping up. I think Fond du Lac has to have at least 6, 7,
yes,
more.
right, and-
because we checked them out. My mother-in-law's in assisted living.
Right.
And Oshkosh does. So you need the volunteers to help. And that's the only way the assisted livings are going to grow and be the good assisted livings
The
that
best
they need to be.
that they want to be, right?
Yeah.
And again, we're not mandatory reporters. We're not police. We're there as support to the residents and staff. And like I have repeated again, that we have only had welcoming staff that really do develop great relationships with us. So,
Well, I would think it helps the staff too, because maybe the staff has the same concerns,
Yes.
but they don't know who to go to because they don't want to get in trouble. And here you have a wonderful person like you coming in that can relate
Right.
and share the information.
we did some work. I mean, we've supported staff also that, you know, somebody had a mop that they wanted a new mop. You know, I was a cleaning person, and they were afraid to ask. So we were like, well, we can take care of that. So yeah, the volunteers are really just great advocates and support to our long-term care communities, and that's what we're passionate about. So
Well, Erin, the time is running down. What do you want to say? in
I
a
want
closing?
to say that Kim is a wonderful volunteer coordinator, obviously, so much so that I'm continuing on following her to this new position. And
thank you, Erin, because
You're
working
very
with you has
welcome.
been is it's a great gift.
likewise.
But that's what our volunteers are all about, and that's what volunteering is all about.
But you
is
can
people
tell in
like
your
you.
eyes. You can tell by your eyes that this is rewarding for you and that you care.
Thank you.
And
It really is. It's been such a rewarding experience. The lives that I've been able to touch, and the people, how they've impacted my life as well. Learning from people, because a large portion of what I do when I go in is visiting with people, listening to their stories, and people appreciate that. So I thank you for the opportunity.
Especially our older population who
Yeah.
are more isolated. And they
Right.
have phenomenal stories, and phenomenal lives. And we're skilled and trained in communication and listening. So
and listening is such a key thing because they can tell when you're listening.
Yeah.
We're probably going to have you guys back again
you.
to talk about the progress.
Love to do that.
Of the program because the time is running down. I want to thank Erin and Kim for being my guests for this January 2024 edition of The Place to Be Oshkosh. Thank you also for joining us. Thank you to our sponsors, and go see Brian at UBloom because it's January and you probably want to spruce up your homes a little. But thank you all very, very much. And
Call today.
Call today to volunteer. She's going to get the last word in. Call today to volunteer. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
thank you.